What's up, everybody? Welcome to my podcast, The Rest is Rock and Roll History. I am the Toddfather, and this is the inaugural episode, the first episode, and my guest today is Jason Pierce from the band Our Lady Peace. What's going on?
It's an honor, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for having us here at, I don't even know what this festival is called.
This is Blue Water Border Fest.
Blue Water Border Fest.
In Sarnia, Ontario.
Bordering beautiful Port Huron, Michigan.
That's a little geography.
It's right here somewhere. So anyways, this is the first episode, like I said, inaugural episode. The rest is rock and roll history. The premise of my podcast is basically to talk about concert experiences and music in general as a whole, what we love, why we love it, why people come here, why they come here to see you, that kind of thing. But my favorite part of my life has always been the memories at concerts and seeing live music. And for me, obviously, I've played music live since I was, since 1991, and then I moved on to promoting and managing, and I've been to a million concerts. But in my opinion, every concert has a group of people, 10, 20, 20,000. But they're all enjoying the same show. They're into the same music. They're all vibing on the same thing. There's love. There's an energy the band provides with the music. But everybody has a different experience from that night. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I do.
So that's what I'm here to talk about, and then we'll talk about more. So before we get into all that, let's kind of, I'll just kind of fill everybody in on how we know each other, and of course it's a musical thing. So when I started managing music, one of my friends, Daniel Victor, for the people out there who don't know, JP came in as the live drummer, and I'll let you kind of take it from there.
Yeah, I heard a song called "The Grace" on radio in London, Ontario, where I grew up. And London kind of was a testing ground for songs before it went syndicated through the actual Canadian radio system. So I heard the song the first time it was ever played on radio, and I was just like, what the heck is this? I need to be part of this. So I ended up emailing Daniel Victor off his website, and I auditioned for him, and then I put his whole live band together. So I was with him for, I think, about 3 or 4 years, a couple of record cycles, and we're still friends to this day.
And that band was actually... you guys are fucking tight.
Thank you.
Danny's music is so deep. It's intricate. There's a lot of moving parts. And, guys we had B-Rad on the keyboards, Kevin Kennedy on...
Bones.
Bones, yes. And Bromberger.
Papa Sausage.
Yeah. See, these are the live ones. I wasn't on the road with you guys ever. All the little intricate ones. But, I was there a few times. But yeah, so you got involved with that. The album the single went number one.
Yeah, it went gold.
Yeah, gold. Number one on Much Music. I think
at radio, too.
And at radio. Yeah. And geez, it's still on in, service centers. You hear it in elevators and stuff. That's crazy. Day. Can you believe it's been 18 years since that single dropped?
That just makes me feel old.
Dude, I just turned 50. We were just talking about 50 years old. We'll talk about old.
You win.
Yeah. I can't even. Yeah. But
get off my lawn.
Yeah. So, anyways, from there, you kind of moved on to some other things before you got here. So, just kind of tell me the path, the journey, post NWL.
Yeah. After Never Ending White Lights, I started playing with this pop artist named Shiloh, who ended up going platinum, and we did the Much Music Video Awards and stuff like that. But from that camp, I ended up going into Paramore, and I played with Paramore for a bunch of years, and Justin Bieber and Carly Rae Jepsen, Nick Carter from Backstreet Boys. But that's all kind of related to the same Shiloh camp.
Right.
Except for the Paramore one, really. That was just a friend of a friend type thing.
That had to be a lot of fun touring with Paramore, though.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was very last minute. I think I had 3 rehearsals and half a week to learn the entire set. Then I think the first show was 80,000 people in Prague or something like that, which was terrifying.
They jumped you across the little pond to start you off?
Yeah, just get over there, Piercy. You got this. But yeah, it was a great experience, and really fun songs to play with. And going from what I had done before to that scale, it was a real eye-opener to see how the other half tour.
It's like when you go from minor league baseball to major league baseball, you start doing batting practice with white balls and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, yeah. You're still on a 737, but it's their 737. Yeah.
Is this Paramore on the back of the wing or something? Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So tell me how you ended up with OOP.
Funny story. That actually goes back to Daniel Victor again. Never Ending White Lights toured with Our Lady Peace, opening for them back, I don't even know what year it was, but it was
that would have been 06.
Yeah,
it was
something
06,
around then. Yeah, but it was the Paranoid Times tour, so that record cycle for Our Lady Peace. and we ended up touring with them, and I kind of got to know the guys a little bit. But it really was more through Coalition, the management company at that time.
That's where I was working.
Yeah,
at the time, too.
I was hounding Rob Lanny at the time because Finger 11 was between drummers, and I was like, "Do they have anybody yet? Do they have anybody yet?" And then I got an email out of nowhere one day, just saying like, "It's not Finger 11, but there's another gig. Like, would you be interested?" So I ended up like having a coffee date with Duncan. We jammed once, and then I got hired on to be like the live drummer at first before I actually became a member.
Oh wow!
And started.
So
doing all that.
you only chatted with Duncan before.
Yeah. We.
He's like, I don't care what Rain and those guys.
Well,
Steve
they're
have
all
to
in
say.
LA, so it's like, he kind of had to take care of that type of business. But we did like I think one rehearsal in Toronto at Coalition actually in the chapel, and then we started doing festivals. So
man, you jumped right into that too. But you're a lifer here, so
this
is not
10
a
years
session,
strong now.
This is not a session thing.
No.
You're writing. I remember last time we hung out, you were saying how.
Yeah. I have a bunch of writing on the last record and some stuff on the new record that's coming out. And I've been a member for probably like 8 or 9 years now. I wasn't a session guy with them for very long. Mm-hmm. I kind of wanted to stake my claim a little bit and get involved a little deeper.
Well, now, I mean, it's kind of like you have tenure, you're kind of part of the family.
No, exactly.
Like you're staying in LA sometimes, writing, doing the tours, that kind of thing. But
no,
I
exactly.
mean, it's not as busy maybe as it might have been for them back in the day, or is it still?
No, absolutely not. But at the same point, I have a kid that's turning 5 this year and a wife, and, it's like being able to have a bit more work, like family balance at this stage of my life has been really fruitful for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you're getting to live out the dream, essentially. Like some people don't ever make it this way. And you didn't actually form a band that had to break through all those
No, absolutely
barriers.
not.
You're just like, I'm fucking the best drummer, so I'm going to take this shit on.
I'm just going to take,
Yeah, I'm going to play Paramore. I'm playing Our Lady Peace and stuff.
Well, yeah.
Hey, man, toot your horn, dude. Toot your horn.
I've been lucky.
Yes.
And I've been in the right place at the right time. And the whole like lightning strikes, kind of thing. You have to take the opportunities as they come, no matter how scared you are or intimidated you are, because growing up in Canada, you're always going to have kind of that thought of being like, I'm just a little Canadian, like North America exists and then there's Canada.
It's a big world.
Like
well, when you put into perspective that the U.S. is more than 10 times the size of Canada population wise, like that's insane.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Like a Canadian tour is like touring Florida. and then and you go to the States and it's like, okay, we're going to tour for a year and we're going to do secondary markets and tertiary markets and all the
on one cycle.
Tertiary market, the third market's the
there we go.
Small town, whatever. But here's an interesting question: were you a fan of Our Lady Peace before you ever became a member? I mean, it's very hard not to be living in Canada, especially in Toronto. Yeah,
they were my favorite band growing up, and Jeremy Taggart, their old drummer, was him and Josh Fries were my favorite drummers growing up. So, it was crazy getting to tour with OLP with Jeremy in the band and getting to see that every day, and even crazier to call the other 3 brothers now, whereas I was just an outsider.
It's kind of crazy. Well, even for me, like working for Coalition, and I remember being a huge fan of these guys like Naveed right out the gate. I'm like, what the hell is this? Hope, first song I think I ever heard. And then you move on, and then eventually you're like, oh, now I'm working for the management company, and now he's singing on a record I'm working on, and then you're hanging out, and it's like, it's kind of cool. I mean, I'm not as deep as you with those guys, but it's like I've known them 20-something years now or longer.
That's crazy.
And the fact that isn't Gravity 20 years or something?
Probably
right
something
now?
like that. Yeah.
Jeez. Man. We were saying we're not going to say that we're getting old anymore. Let's not go there anymore.
Getting younger.
Yeah, exactly. So, kind of going in with the whole thing, being a fan, moving into it, has that given you any influence as to what you put into the band? Like, do you feel like you're giving more your personal feel and flair, or do you always feel like, man, this band is established, I kind of need to play a certain way to fill the mold?
Well, sonically, especially when I'm writing, I try to think more of back catalog, and I try to think more of like it fitting into the set. As a person, being a fan to now, maybe I take it a bit more seriously, and I don't take it for granted. But besides that, it really just comes down to like the writing stuff and like kind of, trying to think less of a person and more as a collective.
Right.
And
things have changed production-wise for these guys. Probably the writing stuff. I mean, it's been
Absolutely.
a long time since Arnold Lanny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And even Bob Rock. There was a Bob Rock period in there. So let's talk. I mean, the cool thing is like I said, we're here. We're getting ready to do this festival, and the whole idea, like we said, is the experience of the show. So why not do the first episode at a concert kind of experience? We're a little pre-show, mind you, but let's kind of sway into that a little bit now. Obviously, you are on the both sides of the coin, I guess you could say. So you get to enjoy shows. Obviously, you're a fan of music. You've been to a bazillion shows, I'm sure. You're seeing other bands perform while you're on the road, doing festivals like this. But then you're on the side where you're the one who's engaging the crowd and helping create those moments. So kind of let's start with your maybe one of your best concert experiences as a fan.
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a very tough one.
Probably got lots.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of bands. Seen a lot of bands that I love. I'm trying to think. Oh, okay. Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to tour with Guns N' Roses back, I think it was 2017. It was the Not in This Lifetime tour with Axl and Slash and Duff and all those.
The reunion kind of
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely. And just getting to see them every night was like, it was really eye-opening. Like, yeah, just the songs alone have lasted so long and made it into so many different parts of so many people's different lives that it's incredible to see something like a brand like that live on for decades and decades and decades.
And nobody thought they'd actually become the Guns N' Roses we all knew, at least to one degree or another.
Absolutely, especially because it's based off of one record if you really look at it. It's not even like Use Your Illusion or any of that stuff. It's all Appetite for Destruction.
Mm-hmm.
If that record didn't exist, then the Guns N' Roses that we know and love would not exist.
Mind you, yes, 100% agree, but they've been a shit show since day one.
Yeah, that's kind of the best part about them.
Yeah, right? You know, they are the epitome. I mean, them and maybe Motley Crue, they all kind of came in at the same time or within a few years, but they're just sex, drugs, and rock and roll, man.
Well, they were. Yeah.
Yeah,
they were. Now, like, I remember getting to the hotel in Edmonton and looking over, and Duff had like 3 beautiful Harleys just dropped off to the hotel.
Yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. You guys just
Yeah.
going to pick up some bikes for a few days, guys? Like,
It's like Led Zeppelin type stuff.
yeah, well, he likes to look for that boost through adrenaline instead of drugs. So, you know, he has to replace it with something, and it makes sense, you know?
I think that kind of reminds me of ZZ Top.
Yeah.
It's like the one guy's like, well, he's a guitar player, so we would go by guitars, Billy Gibbons. But then you had Fred Beard, the only guy who doesn't have a beard, Fred Beard, who goes and buys race cars and stuff like that. And I think Dusty, well, when he was alive, he was the one who was buying sports cars.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that was a Zeppelin thing, too. I can't remember which guy it was. He's like, hold on, guys, pull over the bus. I want to go tell that guy I'm going to give him $200,000 cash for that car right now, and I'm going to send it to England in a box. He can walk home.
Chump change.
He can walk home. Yeah, even back in the 70s, right? Now, oh my God, can you imagine what those kind of cars would be?
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah,
I'll take the Prius.
Yeah. So get back to the experience, the concert experience with Guns N'
Yeah.
Roses.
Well, I remember the first show we did. We were doing this racetrack outside of Montreal. I think it was like a Formula One racetrack. And I was walking back from our dressing room after the show, and I heard that dun 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 dun, dun, and it was the beginning of Welcome to the Jungle. And it was that moment where I was just like, oh my God, like that's Slash playing that right now. That's Guns N' Roses about to play in front of this massive stadium-sized, audience. And yeah, it was just one of those surreal moments in my life where things kind of clicked in, and I was just like, I think I'm in a happy place right now. Like, I think this is okay. If this is what life is right now, I'm okay. And they had the best catering I've ever seen in the world, by the way. But
yeah, I can imagine.
I ate so much food.
Man, like that's probably like a touring spread, right? Like
Yes.
There's no like, hey, can I get peanut M&Ms on the hospitality restaurant?
Yeah.
Not that kind of thing. Right?
No, it was like the most intense catering I've ever seen in my life.
Filet mignon and stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah.
That. Do you know what did Slash want? Do you know what was his thing?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, no idea.
I was on a plane with him though, like a couple weeks later, and we were both in like business or whatever, and I'd got the chicken. And he looked over to be like, is the chicken good? I'm like, yeah. But it made me so sick, but I didn't want to let on. So I still gave him the thumbs up. He didn't need anything, luckily.
Yeah.
But
Can you know what's crazy? Daniel and I went and saw Slash play. I mean, he's got, was it Miles Kennedy?
Yeah, yeah.
When he does his solo thing. And on the first NWL record, we had Todd Kearns.
yeah, he plays.
And we showed up to the concert. We had no idea. We're like, is that Todd Kearns up on stage playing with Slash right now?
Small world.
Casino Windsor? We're like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's like, well, you never know. And like, he was a front man playing guitar for...
for Major Electric,
yeah,
right?
for 10, 15 years, and then he's on bass with Slash.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
How the hell that even happened?
I think he has a side band called Toque.
Oh, I haven't even heard of it.
Yeah,
That's very Canadian of him.
all Canadian lineup.
Now living in the States, they make fun of me when I say toque. They call those like beanies.
It's a hat, boy.
Yeah. it's a snow cap or whatever. So let's get more into the experience and stuff. Like now, let's talk about what you do to kind of create that experience. Like how do you vibe off the energy in a show to create those moments, or do you find yourself engaging with people and
Well, the audience completely changes the experience for the performer. Like if the audience is, I know it's been said a million times, but if the audience is mundane and keeps to themselves, then the energy's not feeding the same to the band on stage. So, when you're playing larger shows, you're kind of trying to play to the back of the room, and you're trying to make sure that everyone's getting an equal experience.
Right.
But yeah, it's like very, very crowd dependent. I've played many shows where you're like, you can't let on that you're not feeling that energy, but you're kind of in quicksand the whole time.
And a lot of it, I mean, depending on the band you are, I mean, a lot of it kind of is on the shoulders of the front man, I would think.
Absolutely.
So this Rain's job. He's got it.
He's got it.
He's done this once or
Yeah,
twice.
He knows
Ladies love him. Girls adore him.
Absolutely.
If they're not screaming, then
dogs
there's a
love him.
problem.
Everyone loves him.
Dogs, cats.
Dogs,
whatever.
cats,
Bunny
fish,
rabbits.
turtles.
Oh, my God. And you know what's funny? I have so many, even just since you've been playing, I have so many Our Lady Peace concert experience, but it's from being out with them,
Totally.
knowing them as a fan, like, good Lord. Like, and they go back to, like, right when I finished high school, like 94.
OLP was actually my first show that I ever went
years
to.
ago?
Yeah, 30.
Jesus.
I know. I saw them in '97 on the Clumsy tour.
Oh, my God. I think I
Yeah.
saw them 28 times on the Clumsy tour.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Good
well,
for you.
because I mean, where I was living at the time, of course, Windsor. So you have Detroit. Everybody's coming back to Detroit constantly.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times can we roll through, push 89X in the riff? But then you have, Ypsilanti, and you have, all these little towns where they kind of, I mean, they earn their stripes, I
Absolutely.
guess to say. But we would drive to Toledo, we would drive to Cleveland and see all these little shows, and knowing the management company and working with them, being a promoter, I mean, I didn't always have to pay, so it kind of that's a huge bonus. Like I can't complain about that ever.
So what you're saying is you owe them 28 tickets
At least,
Okay,
but I've
okay.
also booked them and made them money too.
It's
So
all
it
even.
balances
Yeah.
it balances out. Yeah, it's like, how much money I made for Finger 11,
Right.
my time. Like we go way back.
I'm taking the
So, like,
Gatorade from the
yeah,
dressing
exactly.
room. Yeah.
Who do you think used to get me the peanut M&Ms?
Yeah, right. The red
But,
ones. But.
Yeah. So let's. I mean, give me a good story of you. One of your favorite concert experiences, but before you were kind of in your own touring mode and bigger bands and that kind of stuff. Like when you were like really just a fan, and like what memory really just you're like, oh my God, I'll never forget that day I saw it here and this happened.
Well, I ran into Kenny G once outside a hotel in where was that? Poland or something? I literally just ran into
Kenny
him.
G in Poland.
Kenny G. I was just walking around the corner. I just bump into him, and I'm like, "You're Kenny G." That's not really a concert experience, but it happened.
Well, it's still it's me, Kenny G.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Straight up, just Kenny G.
Of all the people.
Was
Was he carrying his alto sax or his soprano sax?
Of course he was. No, it was around his neck.
I always thought he just talked with it.
He doesn't talk. It's just
it's all sax.
it's all saxy.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Concert experience though, it's got to go back to my first tour I ever did.
Okay.
I have a weird history with touring. Most people start going out and they'll play like a bunch of clubs, and then they'll graduate to theaters and arenas and stuff like that. But my first band was called The Weeknd.
Oh, all right.
And we actually own the name The Weeknd. That's why the pop artist spelt his name the way he did. He took
Right.
the E out of it. We were a question on Jeopardy because of that. That's pretty crazy.
Wow, that's
right?
an interesting. Yeah, who gets to be a question on Jeopardy? Alex Trebek said that shit,
this guy.
probably, right?
But our first tour, they had blown up over in Asia before I joined the band. So I showed up in Indonesia, and our first show was like 60 or 80,000 people at a soccer stadium. And we were getting flown in on helicopters from the rooftop of our hotels. And it was the most insane experience of my life. I remember looking out and seeing a sea of people jumping up and down, singing every word to every song. And I had no idea I was going to see that when I was like 18 years old.
Damn. Yeah, well, just the fact that you're in Indonesia to start is crazy to think.
Absolutely.
Like, oh my God. Well, you've clearly seen the world doing this.
Yeah,
Like,
very
that's
luckily.
an experience in itself. Favorite city?
Favorite city? Oh, God.
Do you even get time to see? Like, I mean, I've been on the road too, and you
Hardly
don't really
ever.
get a lot of time to.
No, you don't really.
Unless you're one of those big bands.
Yeah, unless you're playing one show every 3 days, like Guns N' Roses.
Like Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. That was real cushy.
You're like, we got to be Michael Jackson or something where we have 3-day advance. See, this is the beauty of doing a live podcast right now at a concert during sound check.
I think Scott Stapp is about to sound check.
Yes, it's got to be. And what song do we want to hear today?
With Arms Wide Open.
Yes.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're doing it.
I'll do it. If he goes up there, I'll stand up and sing with him.
Yeah, you will. Yeah, you will.
So that is loud, but we got these beauty mics. So let's kind of shift gears a little bit. Favorite album and why?
Like of all time?
Your favorite album of all time?
That is a terribly hard.
It's a dirty question.
It is. I don't know if I can pick a favorite album of all time.
You know what? It's like if I had to pick my favorite albums, I feel like it's a tie between Thriller and Purple Rain.
Ooh.
But that's like my era, or what's going on, Marvin Gaye. But I was so young when that came out. I got more into it when I got older. But those two artists, they're my favorite artists. Those are my favorite albums.
I think the only one that's actually like stayed with me would be like Appetite for Destruction.
Really?
Yeah. Every other record, if I've had a place in my life and a place in my timeline where it's made sense. I hear a little potato in mouth back there.
I can't tell if that's Scott Stapp or not right now.
It is Scott Stapp.
My friends are going to love that
This is awesome.
In the background. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. I'm gripping my hands so tight like this right now, trying not to.
This is the best. This is a TikTok video right now. Anyway, so
he looks great.
He looks like. I'm sure he's older than I am. So
I wonder if I can get a hug.
I bet you can. You're in the band. Flash the pass. Flash the pass. Oh, that's Creed right there.
Darn right.
I think this is that's my favorite Creed song. That's What If. What if? That song? Yeah. Hold on, this is bonus time right now. You don't get this in a podcast every day.
No, you don't.
It's not that.
You called it.
This is great. Scream 3, this song.
From Scream 3.
Oh my god. All my friends are going to be jealous of this one.
Who isn't?
Let's tell. Dude, this is the best ever. And we get to talk over this shit.
We do.
So back to the Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction. Favorite album. I mean, there was a lot of radio hits off that one, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
What was the drawing attraction to that one?
Sorry. Duncan's calling me. It was like my childhood. I remember being in high school and going to the auditorium and just locking the door and popping Appetite on. That and Clumsy, actually.
Right.
I just listened to either of those records back to back.
See, the thing is, like, I'm sorry it's getting hard to hear for us, but you were saying timing, period, that kind of thing. And that's a constant conversation with people. Like, my wife's brother just said the other day, he's like, I don't care how you feel about U2, but Octoon Baby is a way better album than Joshua Tree. And I'm like, yeah, if you're under 40, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's always timing. Like, I'll be like, Rage's first album was the best. And then a guy that was 4 years younger than me is going to be like, no, Evil Empire. What the hell are you talking about? It's all period, right?
Perspective.
It plays a huge factor in what people are listening to and why.
Absolutely.
If you're 14, you're not listening to radio, and suddenly you're 17, you're listening to the radio, and this song comes on. Or, when I was a kid, in the 80s, I listened to more hip-hop.
Totally.
I was like Run DMC and Beastie Boys. And but that always had that rock edge to it, too.
Totally.
So those guitars, and I guess we'll thank Rick Rubin for that. But he would drag that and kind of mash it together. It was the early mashups, before Limp Bizkit and Korn and whatever that other music, the Kid Rock style and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm the same way, because if I wasn't in that period, I would have never probably listened to. I mean, realistically, for Prince and me, it was 1999 first.
Gotcha.
But Purple Rain was that much better. It was just
totally
like iconic, and I guess I was just lucky to be a part of that timing. So I would have been 10 years old when that came out. I wasn't even allowed to listen to that album.
Of course you weren't.
I'm getting raised by my mom, who was like, church on Sunday, and then my dad, I'd go on the weekends and be like, rock it out. Sexuality was whatever on the old album. He didn't care, and he would send me home with, back in the day of recording cassettes off of
Yeah.
other things. So he would send me home and it'd be like radio songs. Meanwhile, it's like Darlin' Nikki and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
My dad was a DJ. He loved it. That was his thing. But yeah, period all day. So what about? This is so loud. I love it though. This is the best. On the fly. Let's talk about favorite song of all time, or favorite artist, or both.
Wow. My favorite current artist is Paris. I've been a huge Paris fan for the last, probably, I think 3 records with them. But yeah, those 3 records I've listened to in all my travels over the last number of years. That's kind of how I judge a record if I like it now, is if it's something I can listen to and be able to zone out, or something I can also listen to when I'm warming up and it crosses those boundaries and is something that sits with me still.
Well, if you can find something you enjoy and it's timeless, that's probably the best thing, right?
Totally.
You can pass that down to your kids.
I'll try.
Listen to this. Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, I know everybody always wants and now at this age you see a lot more concerts where guys our age are bringing our kids
Totally.
to see our favorite bands, and then they're liking the bands, different reasons, different time, of course, and then they figure out their own way from there.
Yeah.
And that's got to be cool for you guys too, because you're kind of in that mode now. The band's 30 years old. I'm a fan at 50.
Totally.
So it's the way that happens is just super cool. Now you're gonna have me checking out. You're gonna have me listen to those records to hear them myself.
Yeah.
That's actually gonna be the beauty of doing this podcast. I'm gonna hear so many more musical suggestions that I've never necessarily had the time to listen to.
Yeah, to broaden your horizons on that.
Yeah, they
totally.
just cranked it up more.
Yeah, they did. It's really loud.
It's too loud. You're too old.
Scott
I
Stapp.
still can't not see him with long hair.
It's true.
Do you remember when he used to do this?
That was his move.
Thing, yeah. Knee up on the.
Oh yeah.
And I got just the right amount of wind.
Cue the wind.
That wind is actually beauty, considering it's 90-something degrees out.
Yeah, yeah.
We chose the perfect day. So let's go back to what about who would be your favorite artist?
Of all time?
Yes. Personal.
Maybe AC/DC.
Oh no shit.
I go pretty classic with it.
See, but now you got that mix of which singer? You go way back to Bon Scott, or you know with the singer.
Newer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those old songs are just so raunchy and awesome.
Absolutely.
Not everybody can sing "I've Got Big Balls."
I can't.
Because you don't have them, or because you don't have. No, just kidding.
I'm gonna leave that up to the.
Yeah. That's all for the imagination.
Yeah, right.
There we go. I can hear again.
My ears are actually ringing.
Scott Stapp is good. He just
Yes.
said. I agree. Okay, now that I can hear you,
Yes.
can you just go back and hit on those the Paris records again?
Yeah.
It's very hard to hear you when he was busting.
Yeah. The last 3 Paris records have. It's something I listen to when I travel, and it's also something that's kind of crossed over to being something I can warm up listening to.
Right.
So I kind of look for something that can sit in all those different places and still be relevant to me, and something I don't get sick of, obviously.
Right.
So yeah, those records, they've continued to stick with me, and I still love them.
Is that what you generally kind of keep in your player? If we looked in your, well, I mean, we don't really have CD players anymore. What's in your CD player? But if you had something that's your most played on your Spotify,
it would definitely be
what
that.
comes up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, I need to use Spotify more. I always.
I'm
find
Apple
myself-
Music.
Yeah, I'm Apple too.
Yeah.
And do you remember, what was it, a couple years ago when they kind of figured out your perfect concert? You remember that?
I don't remember that at all.
See, I couldn't do it because I didn't use Spotify. So it would take your most played stuff, and it would create a festival.
The dream festival.
Of you're I listen to Godsmack a lot, so Godsmack's here on this day, and Paramore and
Awesome.
Puddle of Mud, or whatever way it worked out.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. I mean, it's all technology now. But that's a good conversation too. You're playing now in an era where albums aren't the driving force of a band. I mean,
Totally.
Are you noticing these dynamics now when you're out there touring? I mean, is it all about the merch now, or is it all about can bands survive and thrive the same way they used to without touring?
Without touring, no. Your income's touring. It is. It's touring and merchandise and VIP and stuff
That's
like
the
that.
bread and butter.
Yeah. People don't buy records, and
I see a lot of shows now where they're doing variations of VIP tickets.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
Yeah.
You have
It
to. You
makes
have to
sense.
diversify that way.
Why not? We just went to see New Kids on the Block, and they had the $100 package up to the $1,500 package. I don't know what the $1,500 package required, or included, but there were women on the sides of the stage, on the wings of the stage. There was women with different types of passes. Most of the crowd was women.
Yes.
I mean, I was there with my wife and my 2 buddies, and I think we were the only dudes.
Well, that's
I don't
awesome.
know if you're a single guy, middle-aged.
Head over there.
Go see New Kids on the Block. That's where you're going to pick up 100%.
That's awesome.
And they're all excited, and they're all drunk, and they're looking for a good time. That's maybe presumptuous, but they look like they were looking for a good time.
They were happy.
Yeah, when Jordan and I walked down the aisle, they literally all went clawed the skin off. So,
Awesome.
Poor Scott's, I guess he's not good as I thought. So I won't hold you much longer here. I don't even know how long we've been going. I know you got to go. But let's just talk. He's still going. Let's talk a little bit more about where you kind of go from here. Like earlier piece, you said you're working on some new music. What's the plan going after the summer? New record, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we're working on a new record right now. We have about half of it still to do, like record. And then fall starts with actual touring. We're just doing festivals and stuff through the summer and recording.
Take it as it comes, but
yeah,
we can't expect a full record though sometime?
Yeah, there'll be a record and a tour coming up as well.
He's making it hard on us.
My God.
Of all the things. We thought we were good, man. We thought we were good. Well, anyways, I guess we can kind of wrap up here. I know you got to get going. It's really hard for me to get in the groove. You're my crash and burn kind of victim here. I swear, the wind, maybe I need a haircut too. This is the worst on my hair. But anything else you want to add or anything else that I haven't really covered?
Honestly, man, it was an honor to be your first.
Wow, thank you. You popped my cherry on my podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So, great show tonight here. Again, we're at the Blue Water Border Fest in Sarnia. It's got I Mother Earth, Finger 11, Scott Stapp, oh yeah, and Our Lady Peace. I know you're going to kick ass, and I'm looking forward to the show. And I just want to tell everybody there, thanks for joining us right here for my first episode. I am the Toddfather, and the rest is rock and roll history.